Hey guys, this is Matt in Exile, and today I got a video for you. It has Mark Moss, and he's doing an interview on a podcast. And he's talking about how the UN put an estimation of how many people are going to die due to starvation in the next 24 months, and it's almost 1 billion people. Now, guys, he has a lot more information, such as the protests that are going on throughout the world, as well as what's going on in the United States when it comes to farming. So check out the video. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Peace.
The UN put out when the UN titled the article, why it's good to be hungry, why being hungry is good. And they were saying we need people to be starving because there's all these jobs that have to be done that nobody would do unless they were starving.
Who said that?
It was an article on the UN website.
Wow. Wow.
And like I said, Fox had me on to talk about it. They took it down after half a day because the backlash was so insane. But per the UN, about 868 million people could starve to death in the next 24 months, almost 1 billion. So
in the next 24 months?
Yeah. And so at a time, so Marxism, whenever Marxism has been tried in Russia in the early 1900s, about 25 million people starved to death. In Mao's Great Leap Forward, about 50 million people starved to death. Those were horrific, 50 million people.
And they killed them too.
We're talking about almost 1 billion now. And so at a time when we have almost 1 billion people that could be starving to death, shouldn't we be trying to get as much food as possible out? We would try to do everything we can. But in Holland, they've gone and shut down the farms. They've taken over, they're trying to take over their land, and they want to take over the farms and stop them from growing not just food, but also raising cattle and meat. And so now it's massive protests are happening in Holland at a time where we need more food. In the United States, the farmers are being paid not to plant. They're not allowed to plant on on some of their land. And they went and they petitioned the Secretary of Agriculture and said, hey, let us plant. We can get more food. And they said, no. It's not in line with our agreement for the Paris Accord, which is the environmental thing, which is what President Trump had pulled us out of. And then Biden's very first day in office, the most important thing he had to do by executive order was put us back into the Paris Accord. So we can't grow food in the United States because of, climate change. Holland can't grow food. And now the protests are happening all over the world. And it's even bigger. So like in all throughout Europe, there's an energy crisis going on. Everybody should know that by now. I've been talking about it for 2 years. And they don't have natural gas. They're dependent on Russia for natural gas. But we need natural gas in Europe to make fertilizer, and we need fertilizer to grow food. We also need natural gas to process food.
Okay, what are the three things what did the kitchen service say?
So food, points? And then the next one is the energy.
And the next one is?
And then the money.
Right, and that's what Records is talking about. CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currencies.